So today we're going to continue working a little bit more on polynomials to finish up a couple of the pages that we skipped last week to help reinforce your polynomial skills. So the first page I'd like you to find is 333. We're going to complete these two problems that we skipped because at the time we didn't know division. So example 1, x plus 2 is a factor of this quadratic, x squared plus 7x plus 10. Use division to find the other factor. You can already tell that the other factor is going to be x plus 5, I hope, because a binomial times a binomial will make this trinomial. But let's just practice our division. So x plus 2 goes down the side. And then remember, this is our dividend. So this needs to show up inside these boxes. So I'm going to put x squared as the first term in the top part of the box. So now I'm going to do the first part of my quotient up here, and it's going to be x because x times x gives you x squared. And now you follow down to the bottom box that x times 2 gives you 2x. Now we're going to check back up with our original dividend. The second term is 7x. So between this box and this box, that has to add up to the 7x that I want. So I'm missing 5x's. So this next box has to be 5x because 5x plus 2x gives me the 7x that I want in my dividend. So now I'm going to complete my quotient with a 5 because I know that 5 times x is 5x. I can finish up 5 times 2 is 10. So I know that I have no remainder because 10 is exactly what my dividend says it should be. So my quotient is x plus 5. Then it says find all real roots. Well, if x plus 2 times x plus 5 are the factors, then I can solve for the roots. X has to be -2 or -5. So I'd like you to try to pause the video and complete example 2 on your own to practice your division. So please pause the video and try it on your own first. And now I'm going to do this one out. So I've got x minus 1 down the side. And I think this will take 4 boxes because it's x cubed. I'm not sure. So x cubed goes inside the box. X squared times x is x cubed. So I get -1x squared down here. I want to add up to 2x squared. So you should have put a 3x squared in the next box because these together add up to 2x squared. I'm going to put a 3x up here. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times -1 is -3x. I'm going to put 8x up here because this box plus this box has to equal 5x. I'm putting an 8 for my quotient. 8 times x is 8x, and 8 times -1 is -8. So there is 0 remainder because -8 and -8 match up. So my quotient is x squared plus 3x plus 8. It says find all the roots. Well, my other factor was x minus 1. This does not look like a factorable quadratic, right? There's no factors of 8 that add up to 3. So I'd have to use the quadratic formula to solve for my other roots. The opposite of b plus or minus the square root, b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. It looks, 2 times 1 is 2. It looks like I get a negative under the radical, right? 9 minus 32 is going to give me a negative under the radical, so this will have no solution. So my only factor that yields a solution is that original factor. The x minus 1 factor yields a real root of 1. So even though it was a cubic, it could have a maximum of 3 zeros. It only had one actual zero. That was a real zero. And up here, I had a quadratic. Could have had a maximum of 2 zeros, and it actually did have 2 zeros. All right, so then I wanted you to skip ahead to 336, which we did in class, but we stopped at example 5. And then 5, I put 2 more examples, 7 and 10. So let's, what I would do is, why don't you try pausing the video and trying example 5, and then watching me go through the answer. Pausing the video, trying number 7, and then looking at the answer. Same thing with number 10. So I'm going to finish up these 3 examples, but you should try them first because on the other page, I'm not going to give you help on the division. So now is when you need to see if you know how to do the division or not. So pause the video and try example 5. Now I'm going to do my answer, x squared plus 2x plus 1. So it's a trinomial, so that goes down the side. I need to get 2x to the 4th inside. So that must mean I need 2x squared up top for my quotient. So 4x cubed, and then 2x squared. So my next term needs to be negative x cubed. So these two together, this has to be negative 5x cubed then. So then this would have to be negative 5x. So there's negative 5x cubed, negative 10x squared, negative 5x. When you've got a trinomial here as your divisor, you're going to have to look all the way across this diagonal for your x squared terms. You want to have 0x squared. If you notice, it jumps from x cubed to x. So if you want 0x squared, let's see, you currently have negative 8, excuse me, x squared. So you want to have positive 8x squared up here then. All these together add up to 0x squared. So it looks like 8 will be the last term of your quotient. 8 times x squared is 8x squared. 8 times 2x is 16x. 8 times 1 is 8. So now we've got some remainder because this remainder, so I've got negative 5x, 16x. So I currently have 11x. I need to have 4 of them. So if I have 11, I must have to subtract off 7x. So this gives me a total of 4x. So that's part of my remainder. And then I have to get to negative 2. So it looks like I need a remainder of negative 10 to get to negative 2. So let's see, my quotient would be 2x squared minus 5x plus 8 with a remainder of negative 7x minus 10. That was a pretty challenging problem. So definitely this one would be more challenging than I would ask you on the final exam. Right, the length of my rectangle is 4x squared plus 12x, and the overall area inside is 24x to the 4th plus 72x cubed. What would I have to multiply this by to get to that? Looks like I would need 6x squared to get, is that right? 6x squared? That would give me 24x to the 4th and 72x cubed, right? So I'd say 6x squared looks like the right answer. And this one, the length is 4x squared, the width is 6x cubed, and the volume is 48x to the 8th. So this is 24, so I must have to multiply by 2, and I currently have x to the 5th. I need another x cubed, so 2x cubed. So this times this times this has to multiply to give you 48x cubed. We're going to talk about exponent rules in this unit, but if you were going to string these all out, x squared, x cubed, see how all together you've got x to the 8th. So you're really adding the exponents when you multiply, and we'll define that rule later. All right, so this is now complete. We can go on to the next video.